to this computer. All right. So welcome to the third week of English and IELTS classes. Um, Great work on the homework this past week. I really appreciate all your contributions to the board. If you have any other questions, besides contributing to the word board and the storyboard, if you have questions about the homework, please do use the comment on the homework page, and I will answer your questions there as well. So if you've got questions in between things, your choices are send me an email or comment on the homework board, and that will help. But let's get started. All right, so great stuff. I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna do the plain one again. Right. So here we go. Third week of English. What are we doing? We're still looking at sentence construction. All right, but we're getting more detailed this time. Thank you guys for introducing yourselves in the chat when you can, or having a nice bit of chat in the morning before we start. The chat's always a great place for that. And excellent. I'm sure you can read all of these. I don't need to repeat them. Please do ask me to repeat things or slow down if you need. Okay. Don't be shy. Sometimes I get excited about what I'm teaching and go too fast. So don't worry. Right, so today we're going to review our basic sentence, right, from last week, and add more information by putting short sentences together to make a compound complex sentence. Then we're going to, I want to show you what happens. There's this wonderful thing when you've got all the words you need, when your vocabulary is bigger. Unfortunately, sometimes we lose the grammar. So I'm going to show you an example of that and how to fix it. All right, because this is something you will encounter, because when you finally feel free to express yourself, unfortunately, the grammar sometimes goes out the window. So that's what we'll do. We're going to build up one sentence and deconstruct another. And after that, we're going to focus on something very small, very important, and that's our articles. Right. So off we go. Right, remember our sentence structure, right? We've got our supporting verb at the bottom and then our subject and object. And after that, everything else happens. All right, so let's take a look. What do you remember? All right, so we have got our basic sentence, right? Anna went to her office. We've moved beyond Ali. He's done his shopping. We're okay with it. Right. So what other things can we add to this? Well, there's a lot of Annas. Which Anna is this? Oh, there we go. Right. Anna's my neighbor. We now know where her office is, right? So that tells us where her office is. We can answer when. Yes, Sir Pill. We've got when. She went last Tuesday when it was raining, dreadful time. Not unusual. And what did she do? She met the Prime Minister. We've got an additional. So this is great. We now know a lot of things, but those are a lot of very small, boring sentences, aren't they? Yes, there can be a sentence without an object. Remember what's our shortest sentence? Who can remember the shortest sentence? It's in the imperative tense. What's our shortest imperative sentence? Yeah, come works. The one I just always think of is the one I had to use with my small children. Yes, just a verb. Stop! Because we have a silent subject and a silent object. So yes, it is possible to have sentences without a definite, without an object. Okay. So how are we going to turn these into something that's worth reading, right? Because this is very dull. The trick is we take each one and turn them into clauses. All right, so now we're really building our structure. Remember, I left those gaps between before Ali and before went and before and after the shop, right? I had those gaps in that sentence and we filled them. Those are clauses. All right, so this is how we do it. So we've got Anna, who is my neighbor, went to her office. One more piece of information there. All right. What do you think we'll do with the next one? What do we think? Yes, we could add how she went. What shall we do with the next one? So this one has been done, right? There we go. Oh, good. We've got that one combined. Picked off our list. Perfect. Okay. What are we going to do with the next one? Where do you think we'll put it? Any ideas?
Who is my neighbor? Into her office.
So there we go. Boom. We've got it there. So we've put it because it's describing, what is it describing? It's describing where her office is. So we put it next to, right? So this clause, who is my neighbor, that doesn't go at the end of the sentence. It goes next to the subject because it's defining the subject. The subject, it's describing her. Where is the office? The where needs to go next to the office. If we put Anna, who is my neighbor in London, went to her office, what would that in London be describing? Would it be describing her office? If we put this over here, of course not. It would be describing Anna, and it would be telling everyone that we were both living in London. Excellent. Okay. So this is what's important about how we construct clauses and phrases. So this is, that actually. So there we go. We've taken care of that one. Excellent. Yeah, there we go. Boom. So now, when? When? Now, when we add a when, we just want to make sure it's not confusing. Oftentimes, the best way to add when is as a setup. We're going to tell you when something happens, and then we'll tell you what, who did what. All right. So let's go to the next one. So there we go. Last Tuesday, when it was raining, there we go. Juana, who was my neighbor, went to her office in London. All right. Now, does anyone see a verb? Is there actually, don't we have some extra verbs here? Why aren't those verbs highlighted?
is, was.
Exactly. Why are those not, why haven't I lit those up in our verb, in our yellow verb color? What are those verbs doing in this sentence? Are they part of the core sentence? Yeah. So we've got two verbs, but why are exactly? Because they are in a clause, they do not count as the active verb. Right? This is the biggest mistake that people make. It trips everyone up. It's hard. It's the biggest challenge because you look at your sentence, you go, but I've got verbs in there. Why is this sentence not right? Well, what are those verbs doing? Yes. So this verb is busy describing last Tuesday. This verb is busy describing Anna. So neither of them can be the action of the sentence. Excellent. Is that so? How do we tell whether it is an active verb or an inactive? And how do we tell? We have to look at what it's doing. What is that verb doing? Right? Very good. So this can't be the support, the was raining cannot be the main verb because it's busy. It's already busy describing last Tuesday. The is here can't be the active verb because it's already busy describing Anna. So it can't be what she's doing or what the sentence is trying to do. So there we go. Excellent. So this is another thing to look for in the higher levels of news in levels. Can you find the inactive verbs and see what are those verbs doing, right? So maybe we'll look at an article and see that too. When you're reading in news in levels, it's something that you can do. All right. So we've got one sentence left. What's happening here in this sentence? What are we going to need in order to include this phrase, this sentence, in our main sentence? How can we include that? We're going to, yes, excellent, Serpil, you've spotted it. We can't, this isn't describing anything in the sentence. It's describing another action. And that's exactly right. So this one has to be, and oh, what happened to the verb in this sentence? Is it active or inactive? Yes. So after a conjunction, you have another, you need another active verb. Okay. After a conjunction, when you're combining two complete sentences in that way, if you can't, then you need another active verb. Okay. So that's why this is called a compound sentence. When you say, Anna went to her office and met the prime minister. So if we only read the active words here, Anna went to her office and met the prime minister. Okay, so that's just the combination of Anna went to her office, Anna met the prime minister. All of the other ones are descriptors. So we've got two actions. That makes a compound sentence. Any questions on this? And you can feel free to unmute yourself. We can talk as well. I don't mind. So there we go. We've got our 4 sentences. Oh, sorry, 5 sentences. And we've turned them into 1 sentence. So there's our 5 sentences we started with. And now, there we go. We've got our one great big compound complex sentence. This, by the way, the ability to create this combination of clauses and conjunctions are how you get the higher marks in grammar in the IELTS exam. All right. This sentence construction is your key to the higher grammar marks for the IELTS writing exam. This is what you need to be striving to do. Okay. This is your goal. So whatever your vocabulary level, if you can write a compound complex sentence, your grammar mark will rise in that exam. Yes, please, Najib.
Hi, good morning. Sorry, I joined a bit late. Would you mind to describe the difference between compound sentences and complex sentence once again? 'Cause I think I
Okay,
missed
a
it.
compound sentence has a conjunction. So if we go back 1, so notice that we've got everything lit. Anna went to her office and met the Prime Minister. Okay, we've got 2 subject verb objects going along. Anna is the repeated subject because we don't repeat it because we've used a conjunction, and we're still talking about Anna. So Anna went to her office and Anna met the Prime Minister. Putting those together is a compound sentence. Putting these clauses and descriptive phrases into the sentence makes it a complex sentence. So when I say compound complex, I mean that you've got clauses and conjunction. All right. So compound means 2 sentences stuck together. Anna went to her office and met the Prime Minister is a compound sentence. Last Tuesday, when it was raining, Anna, who is my neighbor, went to her office in London and met the Prime Minister is a compound complex sentence. Are we all good? So,
Thank you.
what does a compound sentence have? What makes a sentence compound? Makes a sentence compound? Compound.
Conjunction.
Yes. It's that and, but, or. Okay. And what makes, oops. Oh, don't do that. There we go. And what makes a sentence complex? Yes. A sentence is complex when it has clauses. All right. So that is why I'm focusing on this construction, because this will, no matter your vocabulary level, this will lift your marks on the writing exam in the IELTS exam. No matter what your vocabulary level. All right. So if you practice building these sentences in this way, and you read and listen to the resources that I've given you, those will build the breadth, the size of your vocabulary, the expanse of your vocabulary. The more different ideas that you have read, different subjects, even if you've only read short articles, you will already have some of the grammar and language used to describe that subject. So when you come to the IELTS exam, you will have a wide vocabulary. You will be able to discuss something about the environment or something about a social situation because you will have read it. All right, that will expand your vocabulary. And this grammar structure will give you the ability to use that vocabulary effectively in the exam. So that's why we're doing this. So we have built our Lego sentence, haven't we? We've built up our bricks. We've got our subjects, verbs, and objects. We have got our clauses that describe all of the things in our sentence. What happens when it's all a jumble? Sometimes the brain will do what it wants, and all the ideas are jumbled up, and they come out something like this. So here's our, it's not a beautiful stack. We've got a Lego pile. So I'll give you a few minutes to try reading this. What is this sentence trying to say? This is the verbal equivalent of a pile of Legos. It's a good one. They're great Legos. They're awesome bricks. We've got a structure problem. So what ideas can you find that this person is attempting to express? They've got some great ideas. What can you find? Feel free to use the annotate button. I know I've talked about it before. It should be in the lower left-hand corner. If you want to underline something or highlight something, please do. I'm very happy for you to join me on the screen. Now, we do have the first thing I notice in the first line of this, they're trying to use some pretty big words. So let's look at some of these words and think, what do they mean? What do they mean? What is this person attempting to say? Okay. I'm going to do some underlining and orange just to make it a different. So we've got this word filtering. All right. Now, there is one repeated word in this sentence. What's the repeated word in this sentence?
Internet.
That is repeated. Okay. What's another word that's information? Somebody else.
Yeah.
Yes. So the one I'd look at. So we've got a word filtering, and we've got the word information. So what are we trying to say here? See if you can write just a section, like, so what is filtering of, okay, initiative of interpersonal. These words may be not used correctly. But let's try, so filtering source, information, internet, and health. So what are they trying to say? the objective that the person that they're trying to describe is doing? What is their objective? What do you think? Yeah. Okay, sure. So we're looking for health information. We've got health information. That's easy. So we've got that. Um, and a source of health information. All right. Um, well, what's important? What's important? Okay. Health via the internet. Exactly. But what's the problem with internet sources? There's a word that talks about
High level trust.
yes, Sophia, that's a really good summation. Yes, high level of trust. So this is really what they're talking about. They're talking about finding trusted level because the problem with internet health information is you can't always trust it, right? So another way of filtering, and what they're trying to say with this filtering initiative. Okay, one way of finding. So filtering would be finding. Okay. Filtering means basically finding the good information, right? Okay. So and who are they saying we should talk to? A couple of people have already said that. What is a way that someone can find trusted internet health information?
Yeah, professionals.
Healthcare professionals.
Healthcare professionals.
Yeah, exactly. They can talk to healthcare professionals. Exactly. So, all right. So, in order to find trusted information on the internet, they can ask their doctor to recommend a website. Does that sound, can you see how it's trying to say that? So let's see how we can put
So
all of these.
in order to find initiative of personal source, we should consult with doctors, and doctors present us trusted sources, and we can rely on the sources that doctors have present.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Is that clearer now? So let's look at actually making this work. I'm sorry, I've got to get rid of the writing in order to move on, but thank you so much for doing that. Really good job on the highlighting. So another filtering initiative, people seek accurate medical advice, right? So if we break this into, what I've done is I've broken this into 3 sentences. You can do it differently. There are different ways to do this, but so what I've done is break it apart to begin with. What are the ideas? People want accurate medical advice, right? Healthcare professionals are trusted sources of information. People can ask for sources of reliable internet health information. All right. So what I've done is break this back down into small sentences, just the way we took those small sentences and built up that big sentence, right? Our compound complex sentence came from taking small sentences and building them up. If you have an idea that is too jumbled, right? Then take it down, break it apart, and put it back together. All right. So, and here's how I have put it back together. There are other ways. You guys have put so many great ideas in the chat. I really appreciate that. So there we go. Here's our jumbled set, our pile of Lego bricks. Here's my breakdown of three of them, 3 sentences out of that jumble of bricks. And here's how I put them back together. You can do it other ways too. So, what do you think? In a minute. There we go. Right. So, people seeking accurate medical advice, filtering initiative of interpersonal source. That's a lot of big words, but used that way, you will actually lose marks on the IELTS exam because they're great words, but they are not used accurately. Another way, the other thing you could say is another way of filtering the information that's out there is to consult directly with your doctor or nurse to provide reliable internet sources for health information. All right. So, what do you think? So, what's our subject, verb, and object? So, our subject is going to be, is it? I usually do I think that's, yeah. And, oops. And ask is our verb. And who can I ask? Can ask their doctor or nurse. And you could say healthcare professional instead. There's a variety of ways. So there's lots of ways of doing this, but it needs to be clear. You need to find, you need a nice stack of bricks, not a jumbled pile. All right. Any questions on this? I'll try and give you another one. I'll try and post one on the as an extra on the homework board, if you like, to give you another one to try and unscramble. So really well done on that. Actually, I can already think of another way. I would, let's see, let's see now, another way of finding accurate information within the internet noise is to ask a health care, care professional for their recommendations. It's another way of saying this. Oops, that should be within, not within. Sorry, within the internet noise. So, but there we go. Sorry. See if you can come up with another way. I like yours, Sophia. That's nice. Right. Well, keep you can use this when you get the PDF in the email of this. Feel free to find it and find other ways of writing this, and put them in the comments on the homework page if you like to show how you have solved this problem. How have you put those bricks together from that pile of bricks that we started with? All right. Good job. And I will also, if you do that, I will check your work and give you some specific information about it. All right. So you could put it in the comments section under the homework assignment this week. If you want to write another compound complex sentence based on the information in this lovely word pile, and have it checked, please do. You can also send me an email with it if you like. All right. So, yeah, and I'll try and find you another source of scrambled words to find that compound complex sentence. You can keep breaking ideas apart and building them into those winning sentences. Right. So we all have to deal with articles, a and the and none. Do we always get it right? I found finally a wonderful example of 4 basic rules that you can use to make sure that you've got the right article in the right place. Yes, it's a challenge. It's specific to English. We don't have cases in our language. We don't have ways, the obvious ways of sticking things together that other languages have. We just have sort of, I'm sure from the outside it can look random. Why do we sometimes use an article and sometimes? Well, this hopefully will answer some of those questions for you. Let's pop through it. Lily, that's fantastic. Now, see if you can find another word for reliable. Okay? Whenever you've repeated a word, see if you can find a way to find another word to say that. It's a synonym challenge. Right. So the indefinite articles. The indefinite articles, I don't know. Yes, trustworthy. Very good, Sophie. The indefinite articles are for things that I don't know which one it is, or I don't care. It doesn't matter which one it is. All right. So a building, a cat, a contract, it could be anyone. Maybe I'm talking about contracts in general. So a contract requires X. We're not talking about a specific one. In fact, it doesn't matter. We're talking about the idea of contracts. An office, an elephant, an agreement. Now, what's the difference between a and an? When do we use which? Who knows the difference? When do we use a and when do we use an? Yay, we use an before a vowel. Exactly. We use a before an before a vowel, a before a word beginning with a consonant, and an before a vowel. That's it. That's the whole mystery. It's all solved. A cup? Yes.
An umbrella.
An apple. Very good. Excellent. Absolutely correct. Well done. Okay. The definite article. I know which one. I know exactly which one. It's the building. Yes, the building. Maybe it's the building I was just talking about. That's usually the condition. The cat. The contract, the office, the elephant, the agreement, they all get the same word, but I know which one it is. Exactly. When we know exactly which one, and it matters as well. Okay, so here are the 4 questions that will tell you what to do with your articles. Can I count it? Is there only one? Is it new or have I mentioned it before? And is it always true? Those 4 questions should be able to guide you through accurately using the articles. So, what do I mean by can I count it? Well, here we are. I can count an apple. How many things in this, how many vegetables in this image can you count? I can have an apple. I can have an orange. Yes. I can have a cup. I can have the rice. No, we can't count rice. Exactly. I can't have a rice. I can't have an flour or a milk. I can't have a water. I can't have a juice. We do sometimes use that colloquially, but yes, why is a bag of rice countable? Why is a bag? No, we can't count hair either. What makes a bag of rice countable? Why do we have a bag of rice? What are we counting? Are we counting the rice or are we counting a bag? Exactly. Which is why we can have a cup of tea, but we can't have a tea. Right?
We count
Exactly.
the
Precisely. So the cup, the container is countable, but the rice or the flour or the milk or the juice, those things not countable. So there we go. Can I count it? If you can count it, you use a or an. If it is unknown, right? Okay. Now, a piece of cake. Yes. Very good. Well, we can have a bean. You can have a bean, but we don't usually have a bean, do we? There's not a lot of food in a bean. So a bean is countable. but a can of beans is a much better dinner. A peace of mind, yes. That's very nice, Sally. Thank you. All right. So can I count it? We use a or an. If we can't, we don't. All right, let's go to the next one. So, is there only one? Is there only one? Right. If yes, the vice president. Okay. If the answer is no, there's not only one. She is a member of parliament, a member. The vice president, because there's never going to be more than one of those, and a member of parliament, because there are a lot of them. Right. So that's how is there only one works. Right. So she is the vice president and she is a member of parliament. But is there only one is a complicated question. There's lots of things that make something only one. Something can be beautiful. It can even be very beautiful, but there's only one that is the most beautiful. There can only be one most beautiful. Something can be small, it can be very small, but there is only one that is the smallest. If there's something smaller, then that one's not the smallest. The other one is. So then it's just a very small one. And then prepositions of place and time. Our house is on the left, right? It's on the left. I did the work. I did the work at the office in the afternoon. In the afternoon. So we use the with morning, evening, and afternoon. So, and the next one, is there only one? Once again, another thing that's only one, faces. All right, so the Ural Mountains, the Adirondacks, the Thames River, or the Nile. Mountains and rivers get the in front of them. And names of plural countries like the Netherlands and the United Kingdom. Well, no, not for all countries, only for plural countries. The United States, the Philippines, exactly. What are the other ones? There's a few more. But many of the, so it's only for the plural countries. Yeah, it's interesting because in English, Afghanistan is a singular. Exactly. The United Arab Emirates, absolutely. The United States, exactly. So usually, and the Ivory Coast, very good. Yes, there's lots of them. So all of those that have that are compounds and collections. So we don't say the Turkey, though in Germany they do. You know, in German it's very odd because in German it's Turkey is plural. Sorry, but yes. All right. So there we go. That's question number one. Do you remember what was question number one? Number one was, can I count it? Yep, the Isle of Man. No, the Europe is not plural. That's the European Union. Yes, but Europe alone is Europe. Okay. This is okay. All of the that's That's the question I'm answering, Sophie. Sophia, sorry. That is the question I'm answering. When do we know how to use them? The United Nations, exactly. The Commonwealth is a collection of countries as well. All right. So our first question was, can I count it? Our second question was, is there only one? If there's only one, we always use the definite article, because we know exactly which one it is. All right. So, yep. But what about when things change from the indefinite to the definite? It's caused by an increasing degree of certainty. It means we know more. All right. So this is our third question. Is it new or have I mentioned it before? I saw a cat. The cat was brown. So the cat that I saw was brown. The cat was sitting on a fence. A fence. Which fence? The fence was white. The cat was sitting on the white fence. All right. Exactly. So in the second sentence, we've already mentioned the first time we mention it, we don't have to say it's the. Nobody knows which one we're talking about until we mention it. So yes, I saw a cat. The cat. All right. The was brown and was sitting on the white fence. Now we know everything and can say that. All right. So that's how the shift happens. So is it new? It gets an A or an. Have I mentioned it before? We know which one it is. All right. And last of all, is it always true? If it's always true, it gets no article at all. All right. The rain falls from the sky. Always. We're in England. I never eat potatoes. Nope, never. Never happens. I don't say I never eat the potatoes. I never eat potatoes. That means I never eat any potatoes ever. It's always true. I like rain. It's a habit. What can I say? So I don't need an article in front of it. Right? We stayed inside this time because of the rain. Now that's a specific rain. It's not always true. We're not always inside and it's not always raining. Nothing, there's no always. No, always true. Always true. Not the true. There we go. All right. So I've got a summary here. When I count it, if yes, you need an article. Is there only one? If yes, use the. Is it new or have I mentioned it before? If it's new, use a or an. If it's old, use the. Is it always true? If yes, use no article. All right. Hopefully, this will make it a little bit easier to know when to use which article. And I've included in the homework a grammar check from the British Council to give you a little bit more exercise in this as well. Okay, so real quick, I'm going to do a little, I know this is an awkward way of, I'm going to just very quickly collect some information. And
I have a question.
yes.
For is the only one? Just we have one London, but yeah, we don't put put before it.
No, but we would say the city. Okay? We would say the city. All right. So
Thank
that's how that works. That's how the only one. But before, no, that would become a name, and that's separate. It's not a name that requires a the in front of it because it's a proper name. All right. So it's not a general noun, it's a proper name. So let me just do one more. Yes.
Hello.
Yes.
Thank you very much for your this informative session. As my classmate asked about the London, you can't say the London,
Yep.
but I can say the UK. What is the difference? This is
That's
city and this is
because
country.
that's because the United Kingdom is a compound country name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's only because that article is actually part of the name. So this is, remember, in when we were, is there only one? We went through quite a number of different things. The city is the equivalent of saying the vice president. There's one that we're talking about. Actually, no, it's more like we've already mentioned it before
Yeah.
because we know which one we're talking about. But so country names, some of them require, so it's only the names of plural countries. So the United Kingdom,
Mm.
the full name is the United Kingdom of England,
Yeah,
Wales,
yeah, yeah.
Scotland, and Ireland, and Northern
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Ireland.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay,
Also, the United States of America also. Yeah, yeah.
exactly. So it's only the ones that are specifically
Thank you.
um,
Thank you. Thank
that
you very much.
specifically have the in their name
Thank you.
or
Thank
are
you.
a collection. Exactly.
Thank you very
So
much.
the European Union is one thing, Europe is a different thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
So, all right, good. So, well, thank you all for that. We're going to take a 5-minute break and come back for our IELTS section. Let's see, once again, yep, right down at the bottom, there's my email address again, just so that you've got it. Once again, any questions about this, you can either send me an email or you can put them in the notes. Anmaro, yes?
Yes, madam. Can I use an article as the before of the common noun, like as he looks like the Rabindranath or the Shakespeare, like as
The internet, yes. The Shakespeare doesn't work because um, because Shakespeare is a proper name. So we wouldn't say the Harriman to talk about me. So we wouldn't say the Shakespeare. We would say the Shakespeare play, but it's because the play, and Shakespeare is merely modifying it to tell us which play. Okay.
just I just I would like to say when we just compare someone like as his writing uh, looks like Shakespeare or looks like
Oh,
the Rabindranath.
okay. Then we would say it compares to the writing of this other person.
Yes,
Okay. But it's the writing, not the person's name.
yes,
So, all right, this poem reminds me of the sonnets of the Shakespeare sonnets.
yes.
It's the sonnets of Shakespeare.
Oh,
All right.
Second. Yeah. Thank you, madam. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's pause for a second. Zoom recording. There we go. All right. Welcome back for the second half of our class, where we look at the IELTS exam in particular. And today we will be practicing techniques for different question types. So hopefully this will give you a chance to ask questions and look at specific question types. I will encourage you to send me or talk about any other question types that you have questions about. But off we go. So as you recall, the IELTS reading exam is 60 minutes long, consists of 3 academic articles, and requires you to answer 40 questions in 60 minutes. Sounds impossible? It isn't. There are roughly 11 types of questions. Many different tutors will tell you different numbers of questions. I think there's quite a controversy over how many different question types or what consists of a different question type. But with enough practice, you will have no surprises on the exam. And that's what I'm trying to help you achieve, is going into that exam, sitting down, looking at the paper, and instead of that, oh my God, what do I do with this? Oh my heavens, my brain is empty. Not having that response, looking at that paper and saying, oh yeah, I know what to do with this. Right. And then get stuck in. No fear, no drama. Big deep breath. Relax. Let your brain work, because that big deep breath will actually increase the blood flow in your brain. Big deep breath. This is nothing I haven't seen before. I have seen this before. I know what to do with it. That's where we're headed. There's 2 hands up. Do we have questions right now? Anwar, on Mahmoud, or are those just leftover hands raised?
Yeah, can I ask?
Yes. Yes, please.
Hello. Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you for everything. Actually, I have a question. If you have a simulation website, a free one that we can access and we can just familiar the test, environment and something like this, so we can be familiar with it.
So you're looking for practice papers or
Online, something like simulate the test itself. We be in the environment of it, so we go for each exam with the time for the test itself.
Yeah, there
Something
is
free
one
that we can access it.
There is a free one on the British Council site, and I will give it to you. I will give it to you, but I think there's only one that's freely accessible. And so I would save that one for later.
I guess if we have something like Road to IELTS, they have many exams in it, and you can
Yes.
go to one after one, and with the exam environment. So if we have something like this, will help a lot.
Yes. Okay. I have a file with all of the and it will be in the chat from earlier. I have a file with a number of practice papers. They're all numbered. Let me see if I can show that to you again. I'll do that right now. And then we'll get on with this. And oh God, if I can only find myself. There I am.
Actually,
Okay.
I'm talking about the other type. As we know, we have 2 types. One with the papers, the other one will be online, just direct using the computer itself.
Okay, I didn't quite understand that. So I have my IELTS practice file here, has a number of practice papers in it. Okay. If you scroll down, they're numbered. As you see, they're numbered. Okay, so you can do them in order. All right. And there's the reading practices. I've broken them down so that I can use them in class as well. And there are the answers for the reading questions there. Though please, please
Okay,
don't
thank you.
waste them by reading the answers first. Okay. So this file you have access to. It's on the there's a link on the homework page today.
Teacher, can't we just get them via our emails, please?
The links or the I can't send out all of these papers. I can leave them available to you, but you will need to go to the drive to collect them. I'm sorry.
Okay, we can get the links, yeah?
Yeah, but the links I'm putting the links in the chat, and here, let me go back to here. I'll put this one in again. There we go. There's the link to that one. So that's the file that's got all of those practice papers. Now, there are things that I am asking you to do. So go slowly, go gently with these, because what is most important is that you develop the skills. All right. Oh, for taking the exam, I don't believe there's a time limit. If you are taking the exam and you don't get the score that you need on a particular portion of the exam, there is also a one skill retake available at most of the exam sites. All right. So look for the one or ask them about doing a one skill retake. So if your writing isn't quite high enough, but everything else is fine, you can retake just that, just the writing. All right. It's another option that a lot of places give you. All right. I do ask you to please focus on the skills first, because a lot of people will take these exams, the mock exams, over and over again, and it doesn't help if you're making the same mistakes. All right. If the method that you're using doesn't go fast enough for you, doesn't give you the response, then you need to practice the skills, not just doing the same thing over and over. Okay. If you're focusing on the skills, the first time, for me, I would say the first reading practice exam, don't use a timer at all. Second reading exam, start the timer when you start and do the exam, and then just see how long it took you. All right. And then on the third one, do the same thing. Turn it on. Don't worry about it. Just do the exam and then see how long, if it took you less time. So the idea is to build up those skills. So and analyze what you're doing each time. Because what you will find, if you are reading the questions, if you're analyzing the questions, if you're answering the easiest ones first, then you will find that you go faster. All right, I really believe that. And I will show you a video as well on YouTube of my favorite YouTube IELTS tutor. And I've given you in the homework a link to her list of reading advice videos as well. So roughly, these reading types can be broken down to multiple choice questions, sentence completion, true, false, not given, or and yes, no, not given. Matching headings, short answers, matching sentences, matching paragraph titles, summary tables, list selection. Did I put in it? Yeah, sentence completion, which is gap fill, choosing a title, and giving categories. Yes, everyone's least favorite is true, false, not given. We're going to do one of those very soon. So let's go over and I'll show you the technique for getting it. The true, false, not given, those are the ones that mess up my timing taking this. All right. It's really easy to get trapped to reading and trying to find the phrase, and I'll show you how that works in just a second. Okay, yes, true, false, not given is a trap, but I'll show you how to break out of it. Okay, so let's look at multiple choice. You're going to be scanning for specific information. Your speed of locating the precise information in the passage is the key. The good news is in these, if you've got a set of multiple choice questions, the answers will come in order. So the answer to the first question, if you've got 5 multiple choice questions, the answer to the first question will be the first one that you come to reading from the top down in the article. The second question will be after that. The third question will be after that. Okay, so they will be in order in the document. It's kind of a key. As always, the wider this is why I say read widely. Read an article you've never read before. The more synonyms you have in your head, the easier the exam will be, the higher your mark will be. Okay, so let's look at this. So what is the article going to be about? Because once again, I'm never going to give you the article first. Why is that? What do you read first? Why are we going to bother reading this article at all? Yes!
Azai.
There is only one reason to read this article, and that is to answer the questions. Exactly. So here we have our multiple choice. What order is the information going to be in? It's going to be in order. So we will find the answer to number 1 first. We will find the answer to number 2 second, and the answer to the last will be after. Okay, so the test can predict Alzheimer's. There's a good question. So what is the article about, first of all? You can feel free to use the annotate, because that will give you the experience of doing it as well. What are you going to highlight in this in order to find the answers? Okay. Yes, so the article is about Alzheimer's. There we go. And we're looking, what's the key? We're looking for a prediction, something that can predict. So here's the question. Well, we've got 2 or 3 years twice. What's the difference between these 2 sentences? 2 or 3 years before the illness begins, 2 or 3 years from the start of symptoms. What's the difference between these 2 sentences? How will you choose between them? Yes.
One
So one is the beginning of the illness. Exactly. And one is the start of the symptoms. Okay. So we need to figure out which of those. And then over here, what does a decade before mean? What does a decade before? What's a decade? Yes, 10 years. So that's the thing. When you're reading the questions, think of synonyms for the things that you're reading. All right. What does a decade mean? It means 10 years. So is it possible that they will say a decade in the article? Maybe. Could they say 10 years? They might. You need to be looking for both. All right. So we understand the first question. Great. So what do we see in the second question? Or we could tell you what, before we do that, we can go back and forth on this. So let's go and see if we can, oops, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to, all right. So we've got the things that we're going to look for, right? So let's go to the article, but I will have to take off the annotations. Good work on that. Please keep doing that because that's what you need to be doing in the exam. All right. So what have we got in this first paragraph? What do you see in that first sentence? All right. Well, what does it say? So can it predict? Can it predict? Yeah. So that one says it might be able to, but what is the question asking? Can. Right. So can the test predict Alzheimer's 10 years before? No. So let's look again. There's a magic answer, isn't it? Yeah, it's a little confusing, but we have to eliminate. Remember, this says might as opposed to can. It can detect the disease 2 or 3 years before symptoms occur. All right. So if we go back up here, there we go. What's our answer? Now, why do you say A? 2 or 3 years before symptoms start. Ooh. It varies it varies from one exam to the next. There's usually a balance of them, but there will be at least one set of multiple choice answers. Okay. So I know that was a hard one, but you got it, right? So our answer is B. All right. So that's our answer. All right. I'll just, yeah, in fact, I know I'll just put that in bold. There we go. Let's keep highlighting it. All right. Very good. So this blood test can cure, estimate the beginning of, or diagnose the disease. What's the difference between those? So is it a cure? We know that one's not right, don't we? We already know that that's not the answer. That one's easy. Estimate the start of the disease or diagnose the disease. Let's go see. Oops, sorry, went the wrong direction. There we are. So what do we think? Yes, it does say, but it says several blood tests can diagnose the disease. You see that? What's different about this one? Okay. So diagnose the disease, but many blood tests can do that. What's different about this? And here we go with one of our top synonyms. Estimate the start of the disease. Okay, versus predict its onset, right? Do you see how predict its onset matches estimate the start? There we go. Okay, do you see how that works? All right, so estimate the start of the disease. Its synonym in the article is predict its onset. All right, several blood tests can diagnose the disease, but this is the first blood test to predict its onset. So there we go. Now, do you remember whose name was in the third question? Let's go see. So here we are with Mapstone again. What does Mapstone have to say? The test will help people understand Alzheimer's. So we've got one for understanding. People want to know about their health, or people want power. Which do we think it is? All right. And trust me, they will try and confuse you. All right, let's go look at the article. All right, with no treatments available, Mapstone says, that's the starting point. In my experience, the majority of people are interested, to know whether they will get Alzheimer's. Do we have the answer? Oh, yes, they do want power, but what kind of, they believe that knowledge is power. Okay. So what's giving that power? Yeah. So what is it that, okay. So what's our answer? Which one is our answer? Yes, exactly. People want to know about their health. And that's how they get power. Do you see how people want power? It's just a bit too general. It's not likely to be the answer. We want to know about their health so that they have the power to do something different, to change the way they live, or to work on these things, right? Okay, so there's one other thing I'm going to tell you. There's one other secret to multiple choice. There you go. And it's finding those synonyms, it's finding the meaning. It's not leaping at the first answer that you see. It's really thinking about it. There is a secret to guessing multiple choice questions. All right. Remember, this is an exam for levels 1 to 9. If you're aiming for a 6 or a 7, there are going to be 10 questions that you can't answer, because those are the questions that are written to distinguish between, well, maybe not 10, maybe only 7, to distinguish between levels 8 and level 9. So unless you're aiming for a level 9, there will be questions you cannot answer. You can still get points, because especially on multiple choice, always guess. In fact, in both the reading and the listening, once you've answered all of the questions that you can answer confidently, go back and guess, because a blank space and a wrong answer are the exact same thing on this exam. You don't get more points off if you've got the wrong answer in a field. If it's empty or it's wrong, it's the same thing. So guess. You will get extra points by guessing, because you will occasionally be right. There is a secret, a mathematical secret, to guessing multiple choice questions. If you've got ABC options in a multiple choice, pick a letter and always guess that letter. Statistically, that will ensure that you get some more points. It's crazy. It sounds a bit mad, but it's true. If you've just got some empty spaces with the multiple choice, first of all, don't worry about it. Remember, you don't have to answer every question. And your best chance of getting extra marks is to guess A for all of them or guess B for all of them. But don't guess different letters for different ones. Just pick a letter, guess all of those for the ones that you don't know, and you will get extra marks. It's a statistical fact, believe it or not. Okay. It doesn't make it, when I first learned it, I was like, that sounds crazy. Yeah, exactly. It's a 30% chance to be correct. If you keep guessing different ones, you mess it all up. So yeah, there you go, Ali. You've got it. It's statistics. So there we go. That's how to deal with multiple choice. That's how to deal with questions in general. Let's take a look at, you know what, we're probably not going to have a lot of time. I'll let you do the gap fill on your own, but let's go straight to this horror, the nightmare questions, the dreadful ones, the true, false, not given. Oh, what do you mean I have to look? There's a reason for this, by the way. There's an academic reason for this. For this to be on an academic exam, there is a reason. When I undertook my master's program, my research master's, the first thing I had to do, was a literature review, which meant I had to read a whole lot of things and decide whether they were part of my research question or not. So I was reading things for, are they not there? I needed to find everything that was not given so that I didn't have to actually read the articles. Okay. Yes, you want a question? Unmute.
Yeah,
Did
hello.
I?
Okay. Thank you very much. This is good technique you show for us. But I have some question
Sure.
regarding to previous technique or the multiple choice question. I noticed that you start from the question.
Yes.
Is it required to make some quick scan to the passage to know what the passage talking
Total
about?
waste of time. Total waste of time.
Oh, waste of time. Mhm.
It is a waste of time to read the documents. I know it sounds crazy.
Start
That's why this
it
class
start
is about
it
how
start
not to read.
immediately from the question.
Why are you reading? Why are you
because
reading?
because because I need to understand, just understand about what's the passage
Reason
talking
to
about.
read. You have 40 reasons to read this document.
Yeah.
And not one of them can be found in the document.
Yeah.
Right? We have
General.
40 to read the document. Documents. But you can't find the reasons in the document. The reasons are in the questions.
Yeah.
Would you blindfold yourself and pick a book from the library and then read it cover to cover? Would you do this? Have you ever picked up something randomly and then just read it cover to cover? You would be crazy, yes?
Yeah.
Reading the documents is a waste of time. If you want to run out of time on the reading exam, read the documents. If you want to answer as many questions as possible, read the questions. So let's look at this one. All right. True, false, not given. These are hard. I won't lie. They are a trap. It is so easy to keep reading and reading and reading to try and find the not given one. First of all, You've got to know there is one question. There will be a non-given question. Yes,
Okay.
Barka.
I'll just wait to finish. I have a question afterwards. Sorry.
Okay. But let me get through this one, please, because there's two things that are going to happen. One, we're going to face the horror that are true, false, not given questions. And the second is we're going to understand why we read the questions first. All right. Why you don't need to scan the article. What is the, there we go. Tell me what this article is about. Read this question and tell me what the article is about. And this is why we don't read the questions, because the articles, you don't need to. All right. So what is this article going to be about? I'm sorry, this is terrible. Some of these, this is badly. I just. There we go. Oh, now it's all small. Come on, guys. Be nice. There we go. That's better. Sorry about jumping this around while you're here. So what is this article about? 2 words.
Thames
Yes,
Tunnel.
the Thames Tunnel. Yay,
Yeah.
bravo, excellent, fantastic. We know what the article's about. Isn't that great? Okay, is it about current times or history? Are we talking about current times or history?
This is about history.
Yes, excellent, fantastic. So here we go. We've got people were drawn from all over to see the Thames Tunnel. Okay, we need to know whether that's true or false. So they've built this Thames Tunnel. Do you think that people came from everywhere to see it? Take a wild guess. What do you think this one's going to be?
Yeah, it's true.
That's probably going to be true. That would be my guess too. So this is the other thing that reading the questions first. So first of all, we know that this is a history article about the Thames Tunnel. Awesome. We didn't have to scan the article. We didn't even have to look at it. They're talking about people coming to see it. I'm going to take a wild guess. I'm going to predict that that's going to be true. All right. So there were 1.5 million people living in London at the time. That's really specific. So what are we going to look for? What are we going to look for? Yeah, we're going to look for anything
Number.
to do.
It's true.
Looking
We're
for
going to
number.
look. Well, we don't know, but
It's a fact, yeah.
it could be true, but it's a specific number. So we're going to, yes, we're going to scan for
It's
1.5
maybe
million.
true or false.
It's true.
Either. We don't know because we don't know even when we're talking about. What year is this? Do you know? I don't know.
I think it's false.
Okay, well, we'll have to find out by reading the article because we don't know because it's got a detail. But because it's got a detail, we can look for the population. Okay. Yes, excellent highlighting on that one, on number 3. Good job. Next one, how do we find out whether this is true or false? People will able to travel by sea or land. So we need, what do you use to travel by land? What do you use to travel by sea?
Ships, boats.
Okay. So what are we going to be looking for when we read the article?
Boats.
Things that you use to travel by these. Okay.
I see. It's both. It's both.
It could be a boat, it could be a truck, a cart, a
Yeah.
horse. What did they used to use? Okay. Now this one's very specific. Statues of the tunnel could be purchased as souvenirs. So we definitely want to look for souvenirs, but this will only be true if we also find statues of the tunnel. All right? Because that's a very specific question. Right. The aim of building, now the last one is complicated. Number 5, the aim of building the tunnel was to make money as a tourist attraction.
It's true.
So what is the question that this would be answering?
The aim.
We want to know why they built it. The aim of building the tunnel means why did they build it?
Yeah. To make money.
Because a
earn
tourist
money.
was coming in the building.
Yep. So let's find out. So we've got, did people come from everywhere? We think they probably did. Do we know how many people were living in London? I don't know. We'll have to find out if they say anything about that. It might be not given, remember. People were able to travel by sea or land. That's likely true, but let's see if it's only true if it's in the article. Okay. And then we've got statues of the tunnel, and then we've got the purpose of building the tunnel. Ready? Hopefully you see now why you don't
Yes.
have to read the article first. All right, now we know why we're reading the article. Okay, sorry, I'm going to take the annotate off so it doesn't confuse us. All right, but we can start annotating again. Does anybody see the answer to the first one? Yes. So did we guess correctly?
You can from wow to see the first thing. Yeah, on that
Okay.
one.
Means that our first answer, our first question was, the first statement was true. Yes? So that's question number 1. Okay. So somebody's already found it. 1 million people, or half the population of London. Okay. If 1 million people are half the population of London, how many people were living in London at the time?
Million people or half.
1 million people. If 1 million people were half of the population of London, how many people were in London?
More specific.
2 million. Mohammed, you've got it right. If 1 million people is half, then all of the people would
1
be
million.
1 million. What? If 1 million is half, then what is the whole?
It's
2
1 million.
You got it.
But a
No,
million,
one-
a million, 2 million, 2 million,
1 million is
2 million.
half. Exactly. So there we go. So that next question, let's go back up one. Go. So 1 million people were living in London at the time. Is that true or false?
False.
It's false.
Yes, it's
False,
false.
false.
Okay,
False.
so we've got 3 more to go.
It's
People were
2
able to
million.
travel sea or land, and statues of the tunnel, and the aim of the building. Why did they make it? What could you buy? And how did people get there? So, how did people get there?
By land. Cross
And
tunnel arches. Ah, sail. In the age of sail.
Age of sail and horse down.
Cross tunnel arches.
Cross.
It's
so our
land.
question is,
Cross.
our question is,
Bushes.
could they travel by land and sea? We've got sea, we've got land. The answer, the statement is
True.
true. Excellent. Very good. Okay, let's go put that one into. So yes, that one is true. Oops. Backspace. There we go. Sometimes I hit the wrong key. All right, back down. Now, souvenirs. Do we have statues
Statue.
of the
We don't have a statues. Yeah.
False.
So if we don't have the statues, but we do
So
have souvenirs,
different souvenirs.
do we know if they could buy statues of the tunnel?
We don't know. Yeah.
Ah, yes, you've got it. Samuel, Unroll, you've got it. It's not given. We know they had souvenirs. We don't know what kind. And that's how you find not given. Okay? It's not true because we don't have the information. It's not false because we don't have the information. It's not given. Okay? You can't say that they couldn't buy those. And you can't say that they could because the article doesn't say. That's how you find not given. Okay? That's how you find. Look for true. Is there anything that makes this true? No. Is there anything that makes this false? No, there isn't. So that's how you find not given. Now, sometimes they are more difficultly worded and it's harder to find. So give yourself a limit. For that sentence, read once. Is it true? Can you find anything that makes it true? Read again. Can you find anything that makes it false? If you've read it twice and it's not true and it's not false, it's not given. Okay? So there we go. Why did they build the Thames Tunnel?
Move cargo and turn a profit. Yeah.
There we go. So was it built to be a tourist attraction?
False.
No.
Yes, you've got it. You've got it. You've got it. You've got it. So true, false, not given. Potentially horrible, not as bad as it seems. Okay, you made it through. Well done. Okay. So, there we go. I sadly I'm gonna have to clear the board. There we go to carry on. But hopefully that's so. Hopefully we've now answered several questions. One, should we read the documents first? What do you think? Is anybody going to sit down and read the documents now? Good, good. That's what I want. I want you to go in there. I want you to read the questions. I want you to find your reason for reading and then go look for the answers. The questions tell you plenty about what the general subject of the article is. You do not need to read the articles. Yay. Real quick, let's see, what's the last, oh, I've got a matching headings one here too. These will all be, you'll have this PDF will be sent to you. Oops, yes, I didn't put the further resources up. I put them on the homework page. Here, actually, let me, I can do that here right now. As soon as wait. There we go. So I've included some fun things for this. Still got a bloody annotate on. There we go. So here are, I know they're terribly small. I don't know what that is. Some further resources for today, and I'll move them so that you can see them all. They're not obscured. There we go. There's some listening challenges, but mostly I want to show you the best advice on YouTube, which is this wonderful woman who runs Fast Track IELTS. So if you'll bear with me for a second, I will show you her site. And this is her reading techniques. She is the only online tutor, YouTube-based tutor, IELTS tutor, that teaches the same way I do, basically. Okay, so if you're looking for more advice beyond what I can do here, please take a look at her site. Absolutely fantastic advice on all of these. All right, and she goes into more detail on things like the computer-based exam and techniques you can use there. So as you see, question type strategies, you've got those as well. So if you want more of what I've just done with you, please go to her. Feel free to, she's the one to listen to. Okay. I'll pop that into the chat as well so that you've got it right now. So absolutely fantastic resource. Do use that one. Thank you all for staying with me all this time. I hope it's been informative and helpful. That's what matters.